Hey guys, Coach Keith Kepner here. So it looks like Chavez won the poll. And honestly, as I got to think about it more and as you guys shared awesome comments, made a great case for doing Chavez because obviously, since Triple G's more contemporary, a lot of people, I'm shocked at how many people don't know about Chavez or haven't really heard of him and things like that, where he's arguably maybe the greatest boxer in the history of Mexico, right? So let's get into a fight study. Now, by the way, guys, this fight study is not for people that just want to watch some cool boxing moves and learn about some fanciful stuff, right? This is just hard to the nose stuff that is actual stuff that you're going to talk about when you're training in the gym, when you're sparring, when you're fighting. Real boxing versus talk about some mythical flippity, sloopity, slop punch and the this, that, the zigzag something or other that somebody did and all this other crazy stuff that sometimes is too much on the internet. And we're just going to talk about real boxing. All right. So this is only for serious boxers, serious people. You're seriously interested in boxing and the actual techniques and not all the flash. There's not going to be some, I don't know. I'm trying to think of random dumb examples of things, but they're escaping me. All right, so let's jump into it. Before we do, though, make sure you click like and subscribe and comment below. I really appreciate you guys. Let's jump into it. We're gonna watch this whole fight in just a little bit slower motion. All right, so these guys are not this slow. They're just gonna be slow like this. And by the way, this is, I believe, Chavez, I think, fighting for his first title fight. And the guy he's fighting, Martinez, knocked out this Olympian fighter before this one. I honestly haven't done a lot of research because on the backstory of this fight and things like that, because I really don't give a darn. Because I went through and I watched this fight a few times, and I want to use it for educational purposes of boxing, not as a example of boxing history and all this stuff behind it. All right, so let's jump right into it without further ado. Chavez versus Mario Martinez. First round. One thing, like I talked about in that footwork video, my last video, is watch how Chavez has more of that narrow stance, right? Like we're talking about. And there's a lot of benefits for it. I'm not going to go all into it, but that's just something important to see. He doesn't have the spread out stance, and that's why he can cut off the ring so well, right? And of course, you see first round, they're establishing the jab. Obviously both fighters are good quality fighters. And look at the double jab by Martinez. Very good there. And circling with that double jab as well, because that's his job to do, is to circle. Chavez is more so going to try to go after him. Now, Martinez had a really good, I think, kind of fight plan going into this of boxing and then also mixing and pushing Chavez back. Because Martinez is coming off of a knockout win. So you would think that it might be in his mind that he might be able to do the same thing to Chavez. Nice, very good. See see where Chavez's hands are. His hands are about cheek height or jaw height, cheek and jaw, but they're not above. So it's not that guard where it's up at your temple, and it's not hands down. It's right at what I would say is about the ideal height that you want to be, because you can lift it high if you need to, and you see him do it in this fight. Okay, there's a jab and catch. See how far it goes back on that. Oh, it's beautiful. Boom. Yep. That was actually a time jab right after Chavez's jab. Chavez jab there, good double. Chavez goes back. Now watch Chavez go back. Watch what he does with his body. See that little lean back? That little lean back buys you a little extra time, buys you a little bit extra vision, so you can react to things. He has his left up, not up too high where he can't see what's coming, but he has it up to about that cheek height. If you have it too high, what's the problem with that? Problem with that is it's going to be hard to see what is the direction of the right hand. Is it a right hook? Is it a right uppercut? Is it a straight right? Very hard to see. Good double jab again by Martinez. You notice too the double jab, right? If Martinez could do something off the double jab, that'd be even better. I'm sure it's only the first round, but you see the double jab is a hard sequence to deal with, especially when you're circling and moving with it. Good change of direction there by Martinez. You saw he feint before the double jab. That was a good example of utilizing feint. Stuff that, yep, there you go. Feint, pop, pop. And he's not really even intent on looking to land that jab. That's something too often I see with beginner fighters, medium level fighters, they try to land their jab all the time. Be okay if it comes up short a little bit. Great example there of Chavez not catching with the jab and eating the jab as he jabbed. Good block by Chavez. Chavez always ready to incorporate the blocking with head movement. I guess the one thing he could fit in there is maybe a little more foot movement, perhaps. Good 1-2. That's something you have on somebody if they are always circling that way. Good double jab again by Martinez. And to be clear, I want to make it super clear on this fight. That was a good one too. And that's something I love as well, is that someone bows at the waist like that and you have them stuck like this. Don't just stop. That's stalling tactics. No. Try to get some body work off of that. See, Chavez is thinking about being defensive as he's going back, blocking and mixing in the head movement. But what I wanted to say was that, remember, like I talked about in my last video, everyone is a human being, yes. And I think, honestly, too often, and it's not out of disrespect, but too often we over-glorify our favorite athlete and boxers, and we want to make them gods, and we don't need to do that. So I might talk about some things that I think are some flaws and some holes, because there's some things that gave Chavez some trouble against some other guys. That was a beautiful little... one thing is Martinez, you see that arm going across? That's something he does. And there's a time and a place for it in close range. You could say it kind of can, quote unquote, frame somebody or maybe mute their right hand a little bit. But at done from the wrong range and at done too much or at the wrong times can be problematic. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. Good rolling under by Chavez. You see Chavez, nice little pullback, and then block, out, boom, right hand. Beautiful little sequence right there. Block, pulled out, bam, right hand. Try to come back with a left uppercut. He uses the left uppercut a lot. You should too. Good block again by Chavez. See, he raised it just enough to block. Uppercut. Ooh, that was a good body shot. Very good body shot. One thing you want to see with Chavez and his body shots, oh, I just missed it. But Chavez with his body shots is, see how it lands? It's landing with the palm up a little bit. He's not necessarily going up with the body shot, okay? Like, don't be wrong. Like, yes, going slightly up with the body shot's great too, but he's more so just coming across with it. Palm is up a little bit, and it's coming around the elbow. Good short, very short left hook. One thing Chavez does a lot is, and both of these gentlemen do, is they lean in a little bit. And I know that's part of inside fighting sometimes, putting your head in there, and it allows what? It allows you to pull out of shots. And it also makes your guy feel like he can't get a good hard head shot off as well. But the problem with it is, and both these guys don't, or rather, shall I say in another way, the end of the first round, the thing that can happen, if you watch Chavez when he fought Roger Mayweather, not the first fight where he knocks out Roger Mayweather in one round, but the second fight, when Roger was giving him some trouble, and other fighters like that gave him some trouble. And part of that is the leaning into the head. And again, time and place for things, but that constant leaning in of the head is problematic, because someone that's not going to play nice might push you down a little bit and disrupt you in a lot of ways. I almost wanted to like do highlights of different fights of Chavez to talk about the good and the things to watch out for. But nevertheless, we can learn a lot from the great Chavez. Catching the jab as he's moving. See, that's what's great. What I love is great example of what I talk about with defense, right? You're using your feet to be aggressive, meaning you're cutting off the ring, and you're using your hands for defense. Because if you're always slipping, it costs you a little extra time. If you're always using your feet for defense, see there he kind of feinted and stepped out, but if you're always doing that, you'll lose them a little bit. And one thing I would say is that Chavez, you could say Chavez is losing him a little bit if that is his sole goal and purpose, is to cut off the ring on him. But he's doing a decent job. And also, Martinez does a good job of changing up the direction. One thing he does, though, and you'll notice his pattern, is he'll do his circle, he'll shift directions, and right about here, he always changes direction. It's like it's a that much time and movement before he goes back, and Chavez starts catching him on it a little bit later. And also the range with it. You see Chavez has a good stance. He got touched by one shot, shot a hook, and stepped out of the next shot. Both jabbed at the same time. That's where it is so important to be able to jab and catch. There's kind of a little example of just one of the things that I talked about can be problematic is when that head comes around that, if that guy was taller, which when Chavez went up and way he fought taller people, and he can wear you out a lot with leaning that head in. So that's something just to watch out for. Good uppercut though, because it's important to remember, just because someone has your head like that doesn't mean you can't throw punches. Yes, it's harder to throw punches, but doesn't mean you can't. Good little turn there by Chavez. And again, just focus on how often they're catching shots. Catch in between. A lot more than I think a lot of people realize. They think about the right hand on the side of the face versus the right hand being utilized to catch. Good body work right there. And good short right hand. Good classic example of a very nice short right hand right here. Bop. Right there. Turn it over, almost shooting it down because he's popping the elbow up with it quickly because he doesn't have much time to go with it. Nice little short shots there. Good. And see, Martinez is trying to push him back a little bit. So boxing and then pushing him back, really trying to keep Chavez from getting a certain rhythm. Good short shots again. Got that 5-2, the left uppercut right hand, weaving under, pulled out, under. Good. That was a beautiful short right hand, wasn't it? One thing is that, and you'll see this play out, how important it is to, when you go under a shot, come back up with a shot. It can be dangerous. Some people say don't move your head without throwing a punch or without throwing a punch right after you move your head. And there's a lot to be said for that as a basic fundamental concept because you can get caught. And see, Martinez is trying to work him on the rope, and man, beautiful counter there. One thing is see how Chavez, boom, does that. He got caught with the hook as he hooked. And then he tried to keep that left hand up to stop the right hand. I don't think the right hand made it. Right there. Good left uppercut again on the inside. Such an underutilized punch is that left uppercut because on the inside, your hand is right there for you. And also notice how Chavez and Martinez are putting their head on different sides. Beautiful sequence right there with shooting the right hand over the right uppercut. Chavez steps off to the side a little bit. Block shoot. Great example right there of a great time counter. Boom, bop. See that timing? You want that timing, that half timing. Boom, bop. That's why it got in there before that body shot came. Boom, bop. Beautiful. Nice. And see Martinez put that right hand under a little bit, anticipating the uppercuts. Something to remember on the inside. Good uppercuts by Martinez, a good short right hand by Chavez. And good little step back. Martinez does that quite a bit in this fight. Honestly, this becomes a study of both of these guys because at this level, this is a very competitive match. Good 5-2. Good 5-2. Up the middle with the good again. Works one time, do it again. It works another time, do it a third time. And see, it's a really interesting thing to think about strategically because in round one, there was a lot of boxing by Martinez. And then the first part of this round, of round two, Martinez was boxing again. Now he's trying to drive him back. Good roll under, coming back with the hook. And that can be hard to adjust for. Oh, beautiful. So Martinez tried that 1-2, 1-2. And remember, someone's going to 1-2 you from this distance. Boom, bop, right there. And if you haven't already, you'll develop those eyes where you can see how someone might be kind of setting or getting ready for that 1-2. Bringing the head offline, Chavez is with the right hand. Blocking. High on the headshot, not so hot, but goes under. Beautiful time to come back with a right hand in that instance. Good, he goes for a beautiful left uppercut and a right hand that almost got the ticket. Nice work. Going on to round 3. By the way, if you're enjoying this, make sure you like and subscribe, guys. I appreciate everyone's support, kind words, comments, and thoughts and inputs. One thing as well, when Martinez is boxing, notice how he does a great job of avoiding the corners. That's something that you need to do in your practice, is making a habit moving around a ring or a squared space on the floor and avoiding corners. Basically painting circles with your movement. Good catch and jab. So I just love some basic stuff like that. Catch, boom. You'll see a little bit later, Chavez is quick to react to counters a little bit more as he gets more tuned up. That was good. Good example, because Chavez has been doing a lot of jabs. Boom. And what happens? Because he's been doing a lot of jabs, he does this little movement like this, and you might think it's the right hand, and it's not the right hand. It's the left hand that he's reacting to. He puts that right hand down to try to stop the left hand, and Chavez comes around with the hook. So remember, you're doing a lot of jabs, sometimes mixing the lead hook, and you'll catch people. There's a good example, though, of what I tell you guys you've got to watch out for. You've got to watch out for. Trust me, anyone that's been on the circuit or had enough fights or enough fighters will you know, if you're being honest with yourself, that when you make a habit of putting your head in like this, jab, here, put his head in like that. His head is on that front knee, basically over that front knee. Right there, tall, strong guy that doesn't want to cooperate and doesn't want to really fight in just a standard manner, he can give you a lot of trouble and shut you down off of that. Good job turning a little bit by Chavez, though. If you are in that situation, that is one of the things that you do try to do. His head is over there. He gets it around and steps around a little bit more. Nice. A good example of Martinez shooting the jab and kind of leaning with it. And it's hard to tell from this angle, but I would say he's probably a little too close to that jab. But definitely a little bit of a lean with it. And that's what gets that right hand right there. One thing as well is Chavez does a fairly good job of keeping his chin down. Good 3-2. That's what makes it easier for him to use his shoulders and things like that. And again, look at that beautiful, more narrow stance. Both of these guys, more of a narrow stance, like I talked about in my last video. Allows you to do a lot of things. Nice. Chavez tried that same move, making it look like he's gonna jab, maybe for the body. It probably is a jab feint to the body, a feint to jab to the body, 3 up top. Because he's dropping levels with a great example of the jab while they jab. Nice. There's a good him being more ready to react. Slip, bam. Wasn't quite there for it because Martinez is keeping his range a little bit better. But also what Chavez is really good at doing is he'll start stepping in with that right hand a little bit. Kind of did it there. And that's something that's really challenging, man. There's this one pro fighter that I got a chance to spar with a few times that he fought 50 pro fights, and he fought in Madison Square Gardens, a lot of other places. And one thing he was really good at, he was smaller than me, and I'm not that tall, but he was even shorter than I. But he was able to come over my jab with that right hand counter. It's really actually specifically a right cross, and because it's crossing over that jab, there's a right cross. He didn't quite land it. But anyway, it's a sneaky punch to land, and if you step in with a little bit, you can slide it over their jab. Particularly, it's funny, he's like doing it over and over again now as I'm talking about, but it's a good move to do, and it's a good move to work on. And it's a hard move to have an answer for. What I recommend largely is feinting to shut it down or to get your rear hand across and catch. Love the blocking, shoot, bam, nice by Chavez. So now we're on the inside. There's a lot of inside fighting in this. I love how Martinez stayed with him as Chavez tried to step off to the side a little bit. Good short hook. Look how short Chavez's hook is right there. That was beautiful. Weave it under. Oh, good short right hand. And that's an example right there. Well, I'll give you a better example in a little bit on a point I'm going to make. Martinez has his right hand under his jaw trying to catch uppercuts. Then he brings it to the side. Good, good. Ooh, nice. You got to watch. I know it's a thing, and I know it can work and whatnot, but stuff like this sometimes, having that, whatever cute word you want to use to describe guards like this, it's problematic, especially when you get into the lighter weights. As a heavyweight, maybe when people are slower, you can get away with things like this more, but this opens you up for shots. Don't do this too much. Every fighter has bad habits. And remember that for yourself. If you're a fighter, that's a good thing because everyone has little holes that can be exploited. That's a beautiful short right hand. And when you start making people gods, like I said earlier, that's not a good mindset to be in my opinion, as a fighter or as a coach, because then you're going to subscribe that godhood to one of your opponents at some point. No. Everybody has holes and everybody is beatable. Now, of course, the fanboys were going to argue or might argue with me on that. But if you're not a fanboy, then you'll know what I'm talking about. Slapping with that shot. Tried the uppercut, pulled out of it. One thing as well, just to touch on something, okay? Like, it wasn't the most perfect uppercut ever thrown, but notice how he didn't drop to throw it. He didn't, drop down, bend his knees to throw it. Some of the stuff that people teach sometimes, he just threw it and twisted his body with it. All right. And he followed through with it. So the shoulder came up to his jaw. And Chavez still saw it and was able to beat it. So you think if every time you throw an uppercut, you're going to drop levels and throw an uppercut, that's going to work against someone decent? No. It might work one time, but if that's your modus operandi of how you throw uppercuts, it's not going to be good. You have a lot of trouble. Great catching by Chavez as he cuts off the ring. Good cutoff. Trying to creep him in that corner. And I would say Chavez let him off of that. Now, again, you could say Chavez is fighting to fight for 12 rounds, but if you're not doing 12 rounds, or if you could argue, even if you are doing 12 rounds, you could cut it off better. But still, a very good cutoff game in most regards. Here's that right hand slipping, and that one has a slight delay on it, comes over, bam. So it moves the head over to the left side, gets their eyes looking over to that left side, and then you come over with your right side shot. So you can do it same time or slightly afterwards. Slight delay. It's funny, too, how those slight delays with punches can mess people up a lot. Ooh, it's hard to see on the film, but there it is. That's a great right cross. And again, that's where I'm a little bit persnickety about right cross, right? That's a right cross. It's crossing over something. It's crossing over a jab. Just a straight right hand, just a straight right hand. But that's a beautiful right cross. And I'm pretty sure Chavez took a little step on that one to cut the range, or Martinez was a little bit too close with his jab. Good distance with the jab there. Also, as well, think about what Chavez is doing strategically, right? So if when a man jabs, you sometimes fade back, like you saw earlier and like you saw there. Then it encourages them to do what? They lean in a little bit more with the jab. When they lean in a little bit more with the jab, then that's where you get your shot off like that. Yeah, like what I'm talking about. Nice. Catch jab. Caught shot. Don't you wish the film quality was just better? Again, thank you so much, though, for Solaris, the YouTube channel that uploaded this fight and a lot of other great fights. Big thanks to Solaris for having this up here. Thank you so much for having this content on YouTube. Good short. So that was probably a good example of now what I want to talk about. So you see Martinez has that elbow going up, the left elbow going up, doing that thing, that a triangle, whatever type thing. And it's a perfect opportunity for a right hand. It's a perfect opportunity for a right hook to the body. He starts popping up right there. You could say, oh, it's a reaction to the right hand. I don't know. Maybe it is. But I've had fighters that do this stuff and they get, against good guys, will get nailed just like that by a right hand or a right hook to the body. So I recommend you not building up too much of those habits. It's something that if it's situational, maybe. But let's build habits that are going to be minimally exploitable. Every single thing is exploitable. Let's try to make it minimally exploitable. Great example there of the crossing over the jab again by Mr. Chavez. And again, in my opinion, my advice to somebody having that happen to them would be to have more of their right hand crossing over and catching further across their left shoulder to stop that. Good 3-1 there, and good 1-2. Good 3-1, 1-2 by Martinez. Nice. Yeah, again, what I love about Chavez, right? Under, block. Goes under the right hand, blocks the left hook. And again, what could have made it more sweet is shoot some off that. Good jab and catch again, though, there by Mr. Chavez. Again, I just love the basics because I don't see enough people do the basics. Good little like parry down, parry boom. Nice. And good job. Think about that. That's something very important. You miss with the hook, step in with that jab. You'll touch them. And as an amateur, that's really important, touching them. One thing as well is there's the proactive head movement in the sense that you block a shot and you weave under, or you block a shot and you're ready to weave under, and you just weave even if a shot doesn't come. It's important to do that sometimes. You don't move your head only because you saw the exact shot. Sometimes you just need to move your head. So if a shot comes, you block that shot, move your head in anticipation of the other shot. And if you have your patterns varied enough, you'll be good. Good block with the left hand and counter back by Chavez. Block, boom, boom. Nice short shots. Good hook to the body. And good, he's not there for Martinez to get off again. So often guys don't notice those little movements back that make them not have to pay the price for getting what they want, right? Let's land our shots and get out of there just enough so they don't land cleanly on us. Let's see what this one is. Moving that head over. Feels like Martinez felt like the right hand was coming, so he's trying to go under that right hand. Here he tries that right cross again. Slip to the inside, left uppercut. And there he does his change. Now he's going to change right back. And that's something that, if I remember correctly, Chavez does exploit, because he'll go there for just a little bit, but then he won't be committed till he'll start. So now Chavez is stepping out, so that movement's changing a little bit. Chavez is trying to lure him in a little bit. Good double jab by Martinez. Good attempt at a counter jab by Chavez. Nice. See how much range is important, and it's not big jumps. It's little steps in and out that are going to be the most advantageous as it comes to range. It's a game of inches, like Chuck Bodak would say. Boxing is a game of inches. Oh, beautiful. He blocks with the left, shoots with the left. Boom. And then right hand, stepping back. Ah, good crossing over with the right hand. Good little side step there by Chavez, getting a little slightly different angle. And Martinez is trying to hustle him on the ropes. Think about kind of some of the intelligence of Martinez in the sense that you're trying to get a guy out of his game plan, right? You're boxing, moving, pushing him back, boxing, moving. It's just a great example of a strategical tactic. There we go. Nice. Changing the rhythm on someone. And if you're a amateur fighter, this can mess people up. If you're a pro fighter, this can mess people up. Being able to change the tactic and have a tactic that goes between two styles. Good job finishing with a jab by Martinez. That was excellent. I just want to hit on that. Boom. Exits out with a jab. Guess what? He didn't pay a price with any counters. Comes back in, gets touched. Good head movement by Chavez. Good head movement by Martinez. Good turn off there. Spin back around by Chavez. Oh, I just love those short right hands. Don't you? Look at that. Short left hook. Practice being able to throw your punches that short. So often we work at ideal length on the bag. Work on proper length. So that would be maybe an example of using that arm to just kind of control somebody and push them out. But again, it can be a situation where someone underhooks you off that and use that as a way to tie you up. And you can see that happen to Chavez in a lot of his other fights. All right. So these are just things to consider. Great little control and uppercut. Put his shoulder in there. Boom. Look at how he's ready to throw, under. He almost went into an uppercut, but he tried to go under the follow-up counter shot. One thing is with the torso moving, the advantage of that, good little step back. And again, these guys are just exchanging. They're both hungry. They both really want it. And they're both good fighters. And they're both blood and guts too. Is with the like leaning in a little bit, leaning back a little bit, and things like that. That's just another way to add more variables in there, to add more variety against somebody, to make them not trust when they throw they're going to land. If you just always, particularly as you go up these levels, always keep that same relationship to your opponent as far as range goes, and you don't change in those little bits and make them guess those little pulls and whatnot, it can make their job a little easy, no matter how good your hand defense is, and sometimes even no matter how good your feet are. Good short left hook by Chavez. Right hand, he got hit by right hand. Good attempt. Something that's important for you to remember is that someone goes under that right hand like that, under the right hand. Again, I see people stop. They just push somebody down, things like that. No, try to hit him. He hits the arm, but he very well could have got something. Beautiful short right hand. He's ready to block afterwards. Doesn't get that shot. Feint double jab. Feint, and then he double jab. Martinez did. And Chavez is just kind of walking with him, too. That's important to remember with your cutoff movement, not to waste a lot of energy. Just kind of walking with him. And that's where, again, not being too spread. Being more spread is going to cost more energy as well. Just walking him down. But he's walking him down in stance. Look at that. Doing a good job of tracking him. Boom. That was a good example of thing I talked about. He goes there for about that long, and then he starts going back, and then he's inevitably gonna jab. Oh, there's a good hold up situation. If you do hold somebody or they're holding you, walk them to the ropes. Nice. Good attempt there at cutting a little angle by Martinez. And see, that's again leading with that head. That's why Chavez got stuck in that situation. Not leading with the head too bad. But yeah, I'm going to retract that. Not leading with the head too bad. There's definitely been worse times. Good jab and catch. But again, I saw, if you watch that rematch with Roger Mayweather, he really pays. Well, and again, it's illegal though. Roger gets called on it a lot, but still, we need to be ready for all those intangibles. We need to be ready for people that are going to push the rules, break the rules. Because if the ref doesn't do anything about it, you got to do something about it, which doesn't mean complain. Great jab and catch there. We've seen it time and time again in this fight, and you see it time and time again. How often do you do that when you shadow box? How often do you do that in your practice? Good counter right hand there by Martinez. How often do you just do some of these simple things in your boxing workouts? If you don't, you must. Oh, yeah, beautiful 1-2. Let's say in general, Martinez has his chin a little bit more up than Chavez does. It's starting to come down, but sometimes that head pops up pretty high, and that's where we'll get hit real clean with some of those shots. Good jab to the body by Chavez. And again, like what I'm talking about with the movement, that narrow stance allows Martinez to do those little side steps and things like that. Good uppercut and left hook on the way back. Oh, that was a great example of somebody, so he throws a shot, boom, boom, steps out, making space, making space, making space, getting someone to lean in, run him to a right hand, goes under the counter hook. Good habit is to shoot that right hand and go under, because that shot's probably going to be coming afterwards. And if it's not, that's okay too. Making that little bit of space on somebody, setting, people call it, I guess, setting a trap and things like that. But luring somebody into your right hand. Flip with the right hand by Chavez. Oh, yeah, great little sequence there. 3 up top, boom. Look at that opening. And again, palm facing with the connection. Maybe he dug it. Thought he could have maybe dug it more. But it's definitely wearing on the guy. Good example of Martinez with his right hand under his jaw in anticipation of uppercut. See right there? Right there. Right there. He could honestly afford to get it a little bit higher too, because he could have it like this, stop uppercuts and catch those short right hands that come over on the inside. Don't worry, this doesn't go all 12. Not that you're not enjoying every moment of this like I am. But doing a fight study on 12-round fight in slow motion it's a long time. It's a long time. Again, great. I would say that Martinez is trying to lead the strategy by boxing and then attacking, boxing, attacking. But an example of just Chavez with the range knowledge, the timing, being able to anticipate what's happening by Martinez. Good jab to the body. Nice work. So he's a little lean with that jab. Little lean with the jab. That's what makes those right hands so available. Like that. Great job example of stepping out with the left hook. Boom. Some basic footwork stuff. Now that time did he come in with that? Yep, came in a little bit with that. So often you see the left hook thrown with the left hook. Like one guy's left hook, another guy's left hooking, right? It's funny, I missed the feints. Oh, there it is. As I said it. Feint. Yep. See that? That's a great example of feint. My next long video is going to be on feinting. Let's see. There's just a little bit of the foot motion, and you saw the other guy try to react to it. He bought it. You could say one thing is that Chavez is a little too okay with going back on the ropes. I would like to see him just circle off to just make that situation not happen. He generally gets the better of the inside, or obviously. So, you could make an argument for it's fine, but something to be aware of. Good left hook up high and down low. One thing, because certain modern boxers have made it so popular that you don't see these guys doing. It happened, like I think it's one time maybe by Martinez, but you don't see them whipping the head with punches that might land. And that's just something that, like, I have some people that have trouble with that. I've had to try to train it out of some guys, but people overly just trying to ride with punches all the time, and it's not good, man. It's going to make it very difficult for you to get a decision. If you're a pro fighter and you don't have the judges on your side, they're going to think some of those shots are landing clean, because they are kind of technically landing when you're riding with it. You're taking off the steam of the punch, yes. You're making it so you don't get knocked out by it, maybe, yes. But damn, just keep your chin down and try to defend the punch, make it clear that it missed or that you blocked it, versus just riding right on the seams of victory and defeat. Great turning there by Martinez. It didn't play out for him the way he wanted it to, but just great example there of, see those little step arounds, and Chavez is adjusting right for him every time. When he steps out with the hook, right hand. Look how little tell there is on these shots. Not much tell at all. That was beautiful, just short shot right here. Two short shots, boom, boom. Right where the head is. And then he's out. He's not available. Jab, 1-2. Now this is where Solis, who uploaded this video, said that the fight film got damaged and what have you. And so that's why the quality dropped down. We're going to watch the last little bit of it in regular speed. And so now it looks like it's in fast motion because he got so used to that speed. We'll make sure it's not in fast motion. It is normal. All right. Very competitive fight. Good short left hook by Martinez. And there's those short punches by Chavez. He's out. And then the 1-2. Oh, they're going to cut it before. All right. Round 8. You see, Martinez is having trouble. He's getting beat up. That's one thing about Chavez, is that his punches are very impactful. is not necessarily always clear. I mean, for me personally, I don't know. I don't exactly see how much damage they're doing. Like, it's not super obvious all the time. Maybe you disagree with me. But as a parent, when he fought Meldrick Taylor and a lot of other fighters he fought, including this gentleman Martinez, it wears on people. Those punches are punishing more than you realize. And I've worked with guys like that on the opposite side and worked with them. I worked against guys like that and worked with guys like that where they throw punches and you're like, those don't look that hard, but they're really freaking hard and wearing. Chavez got caught kind of hopping in. Good uppercuts to the body by Chavez. And good job stepping out by Chavez. Not not fighting when someone wants to fight all the time. That's something you tend to forget. You tend to just think of standing and banging. And while there is a lot of standing and banging, there's also these little movements just like that. Good job stepping off the side a little bit. Nice. Man, Martinez is turning it on this guy. They're both turning it on each other. Good turn. A good example of the left hook. And it kind of threw his weight over to the right side, Chavez. Whoop. And then bam. Let that bring him around. Because some of this too, guys, is just as some of you know, it's fighting. There's technique, there's strategy, there's art behind it, there's physics behind it, but some of it is just the fight that you got in you, and that's important. Oh, that's beautiful. You can have all the technique, but not the fight part, and it doesn't matter how much technique you have. Shot the right hand, stepped over. That is some basic stuff right there, but great. Boom, right hand stepped over with it. See, he literally stepped over with the right hand. Watch his feet. See, he shot the right hand, right foot stepped over. Bam, bam. Turned him on the corner or into the ropes. See, Martinez got a lot of heart, a lot of guts, and a lot of toughness. And again, these shots, even though they're short, they're more damaging than you think. Man, beautiful. See, that's a great example right there. So often, I had a predicament when I boxed. When I would throw and people wouldn't throw, I'd be like, man, I'm good. This is how boxing's done. But then when they would throw, when I would throw, I'd be like, what the hell? Like, this doesn't feel right. Something's wrong here. And sometimes we'll get into that trap where it's like, I throw, you throw. I'm going to throw, you stop. And then when you throw, I'm going to stop. But if you can make your shots, quote unquote, tighter, meaning more in the pocket, right? Then you can throw while someone else throws and be landing and not be Martinez in this situation and be Chavez. See that? Martinez, the short shots. They're in the pocket. They're in the pocket. They're not flying out of the target areas. They're just right in between all of that. And that's why they're getting there. Yeah, one shot got through, but 3 or 4 got in, right? Biggest takeaway right in that sequence right there. Those shots are much more in the pocket. He could be throwing those shots in a 2 feet by 2 feet space. And that is where that was a referee stoppage on that. Because of that. I mean, nose looks like it's bleeding and things like that. He's getting nailed. But those shots that are a lot more compact against the loopier shots. Now, how those shots thrown? Those shots are thrown from the shoulders. Boom, boom, boom. See that? Just thrown right from the shoulders, all right? Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. That was my first fight study on Chavez, and in my opinion, I would dare to say the greatest fighter in the history of Mexico. And Important guy to remember. All right, guys. Hope you enjoy this video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Appreciate you all. Look out for the next one.